Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching Two Awesome Men. Not today, last night, we fell asleep, so we didn't get to film this until just now. But we watched two movies.
Yep.
Two movies, a double feature.
Two similar yet different movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Both about toys, but very different in genres.
Yeah. And so we watched Child's Play. And also, I just want to say, if you don't really care about Child's Play, you can... there's a time right here, right here.
You'll make me do more editing.
Yeah. You can go to this time and you'll go to our Toy Story review because we're gonna do that too. But yeah, so we went ahead and saw Child's Play, and so that was the first movie we saw.
Yeah, and Child's Play is directed by Lars Klevberg.
Yeah, and it stars Aubrey Plaza, Jason Bateman, Gabriel Bateman.
Jason Bateman's looking pretty young.
Gabriel Bateman and Mark Hamill. This movie, it had a lot of people kind of like not wanting to see it. A lot of people hated the idea.
Yeah, they went a pretty different route than the original movie.
Yeah.
Which I do want to start off by saying that I've seen bits and pieces of the originals. I haven't really watched a lot of the original Chucky movies.
Yeah.
So I went in not like being like a true fan, I guess. Yeah. So I went in with like a fresh mind, pretty much.
Also, I'm not like a big thing. I don't have a big deal about changes.
Yeah.
As long as the changes are good and they make sense of why you're doing them, it's fine. You know.
Yeah.
And I do want to say what's pretty cool is if you look it up, Chucky had this whole like cool marketing tool. Marketing idea where they would make posters of like Chucky killing the toys from Toy Story.
Yeah, since they came out on the same day.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I mean, we all know that Toy Story's gonna do better than Chucky.
Yeah.
But but I do want to talk about that. But a big thing about this movie, the biggest change in this entire thing, which is the biggest change because it changes everything else. Is that Chucky in the original? He was like, I think like a serial killer or something. And he possessed, he
doll's body.
Yeah, he like possessed the doll, the Chucky, the Charles Leroy, I think his name is, the doll. This movie is not that at all. It's completely different. It's instead of that, it's extremely like a kind of like a smart kind of toy, like a doll.
Yeah, like electronic.
Yeah, electronic. Well, yeah, and it's more technological.
It's kind of like an Alexa.
yeah, it's pretty much like an Alexa. Like it's like a toy that can play with your child, but it can also like make your grocery list, and it can turn your TV on, and it can do all this stuff, And that right there is what scared me the most because it's this idea that we're going to be watching something that doesn't really have a soul at all.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, it did it a lot better than I thought they were going to.
Yeah. I also was pretty scared going in, which, like I said, I haven't seen the original Chucky's, but going in, I did think that having like an actual soul in the body, like a serial killer soul in the body of the Chucky, was a better idea. But actually watching it, I actually liked how they did a lot of the stuff with the technology.
Yeah, saying that though, I do think that it is a better idea to have a soul in the doll.
Yeah,
it gives it more of something there. But I will say they definitely did a lot better than I thought they were going to do. This movie in general is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Actually.
Yeah, same.
And I'm not saying it's a great movie. I will say that it's a fine movie. I will say it's fun. It's definitely fun. If you want, and it kind of depends on what you're going to this movie for, and it kind of depends on how much of a Chucky kind of purist you are, like how much you love Chucky.
Right.
Are you okay with changes? Are you okay with this? And that's really what it comes down to. Because at the end of the day, you walk out of this movie and it's nothing to be mad about unless you are that kind of Chucky purist. Mm-hmm. If you walk in there, you're not going to like this movie if you're that kind of person. But if you walk in there and you're fine with some changes, I think you'll walk out of this movie just fine. This movie, although having some actually pretty nice qualities, whenever it comes to the fun aspects of the technology, I felt like they could have done a little more.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, but at the same time, I feel like they did it just enough. I do feel like the ending was pretty quick.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The most of the technological stuff is at the ending.
Yeah, well, he does use it to kill a few people before the ending. A lot of the side characters honestly felt like just pieces of the puzzle just to have the movie go forward. A lot of them felt really one-dimensional and really wooden. They didn't really feel like people, especially Aubrey Plaza's boyfriend and the little boy's friends. They were probably the worst characters in this movie, and his friends pretty much changed their minds so many times throughout the movie just to suit the plot.
The relationship between Aubrey Plaza and their son, the main character in the movie, and I'm about to cough again, but the main character in the movie was actually there. It was actually it was actually decently developed.
Which just a random note, the main kid reminded me of, like, he looked like he could be like Ansel Elgort's little brother.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking about that throughout the movie.
Also, the main kid in this movie's name is Andy, which if you didn't realize it, because I didn't realize it until the end of the movie. I was like, I'm like, oh, his name is Andy. That's cool.
Yeah,
but
Toy Story.
Yeah. So the little boy, Gabriel. Iglesias, Gabriel Burns from Hereditary, Gabriel Bateman, the little boy, his acting was probably the best in the movie. I love Aubrey Plaza, but she has her Aubrey Plaza-ness that I think only works for certain types of characters.
Oh yeah.
You know, and she did better than I thought she was gonna do, but she could have done better. This being her first horror movie, I think she did fine. Maybe she'll be able to do better with other acting roles.
Even though we were talking about how Chucky doesn't really have a soul in this movie, I do still like how they did his like descent into evil.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he starts off as just like a normal doll, but then like he slowly starts becoming evil. I kind of like how they did that.
Yeah.
Overall.
The way they do use the Chucky doll to become evil does actually make sense in why he's doing it. It's not just something random. Well, anyways, guys, overall this movie is fine. I thought it was a fun enough movie. I feel like it could have been a little bit more fun. I felt like the characters could have been a lot better, especially other than like the little boy and his mom. All the characters didn't really feel like people, you know, except maybe his neighbors, one of the police officers, felt a little bit more like people, and his mom. But other than that, everybody just felt like kind of the disposable things. This movie itself is decently disposable. It's a movie you can walk in, walk out, remember it, and say that wasn't bad, but then forget about it later. And I'm pretty sure this movie's probably gonna be forgotten about pretty soon. I'm gonna say that Child's Play is 60% awesome.
Yeah, this movie is pretty good enough time to watch in the theaters. It's a pretty decent horror movie. I think you'll have fun with it. There are different side characters that just feel one-dimensional. There's a few cheap jump scares, which we didn't really talk about. I mean, there isn't like that much, but there's a few where it's just somebody walks in the room and there's a loud noise. The music was also pretty good. I do want to say that. Just overall, it was a pretty fun movie. Like Marquez said, is kind of disposable, but at the same time, I think it was a well enough movie to not be completely disposable. I'm gonna say that Child's Play is 71% awesome.
And the next movie we saw was probably one of the most anticipated movies of this year, which is Toy Story 4.
And it's directed by Josh Cooley.
And it stars Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Annie Potts.
I think Annie.
And hold on, sorry, I haven't found Tony Hale. This movie, this is another movie that I feel like had a really kind of some not really backlash, but it had like a lot of people really scared of it.
Yeah,
I myself was really scared of this.
Because Toy Story 3 ended like so perfectly.
Yeah.
It wrapped everything up pretty nicely.
Yeah, and you're watching this movie and you're thinking, not only do I want to be good, but I want to have a reason to be there. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to just be like a throw-in movie to make money. And after watching this movie, I happily say this movie needed to be made. It's pretty amazing because you're watching, you're like, you know, maybe they're wanting to do this all from the first one. It almost seems like it, you know.
Right.
You know, it's almost a movie for Woody, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic. This movie is phenomenal. I honestly can't think of much to say that really has any flaws to it.
Yeah.
You know, and really, if I can honestly think of maybe one thing about this movie that was a flaw. But like I said, most flaws are reaching, and us doing a 100% system does give us that kind of those things to take away points because of those things, you know. I do want to bring something up, and I think it's the most obvious thing: the animation.
Oh yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just insane how good it is.
Yeah. There's some sequences that just look exactly like just perfectly real. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Like if you told me that they just use real toys and do like stop motion or something, then I would have completely believed you.
If you watch it and you just pay attention to the little details to like just realize how good they are. Look at hair.
Yeah.
Look at hair.
Yeah, like Key and Peele's characters. They were like plush toys, and like there's like little fur that was on them that looked completely real. I'm
Yeah.
like, jeez.
Look at hair, look at rain, because there's some rain in
Yeah.
this movie, and it's ridiculous. There's really good aspects to this movie, and there's characters like the Forky character. I think that's another thing a lot of people are afraid of that I saw in all comment sections, including myself. This Forky character looks annoying as can be.
Yeah, no.
He isn't.
Yeah,
Like
and,
at all.
Yeah,
At
and
all.
I think a main reason. Well, I mean, he when he was in scenes, he wasn't that annoying. But another thing, they didn't like overuse him. They used him like just enough. I mean, he's a big reason for this movie to be happening, but they use him like just enough for him to not be annoying and for him to be charming just enough.
Yeah, exactly. And what's going on in this movie, I just want to bring it up because it has something what I have to say, which is that it's about this character Forky. I think in Bonnie is going to her first day of kindergarten.
Right.
She makes him, and he becomes a toy, but he doesn't really know what
Right.
he is. He doesn't understand himself, and so there's some really cool aspects with like Woody in the spoon or in the Forky whatever.
Yes, well, spork,
Spork,
but it's called Forky.
it's a spork, yeah. With Woody,
Kids don't know what sporks are.
with Woody and Forky, where it's like where they're like kind of like having like a father-son relationship almost. You know, it's really cool.
It goes into a lot of the toys characters, and it's like it's things that you don't think that you would be invested in
Yeah.
because they're toys
Yeah.
and they're talking about toy stuff.
Yeah.
But you're so invested in what they're talking about and the character development that they're doing within this movie that and the toy rules that they set up within this universe that it's just crazy what they are doing with the writing in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you've somehow kept away from every single marketing out there for this movie, all trailers, all pictures, I will say something. Bo Peep is in this movie.
Oh yeah.
And she's all marketing. I'm pretty sure
Right.
everybody's seen her. If you stayed away from her, good job. I don't know how you did that. But she's been in all marketing. Her character is so good in this movie. Like, and she's never really been a character in the past, you know? And she is in this movie. And it's a really, really well done character.
Yeah.
You know, she's really interesting.
And then the villain, which I'm not going to say anything about the villain because they didn't say anything about the villain in the trailers or anything, but they were pretty great too.
Yeah, exactly.
The character of the villain was pretty amazing what they did with that.
I just want to say, how great is it that we have this kind of movie where the fourth movie is really good? You know, yeah, I mean, you definitely understand that Pixar knows what they're doing with this franchise. I definitely think it's a lot better than some of their other ones even. Like, okay, well, Incredibles 2 I didn't love that much anyways. Incredibles 2 is an example of the complete opposite of this movie.
Yeah.
It's a sequel that
Came out a long time
It
after.
came out a long time afterwards. Maybe should have happened, but they didn't really execute it very well. This is a movie that you didn't realize needed to happen. Incredibles 2 you realized needed to happen.
Right,
This
yeah.
movie you thought didn't need to happen. It was made and then it was like, no, it needs to happen.
Exactly.
And it ends with that. In this movie, it's great because I really think it's honestly my second favorite movie. I think my favorite's the second one. As for negatives, like I said, it's a lot of reaching out there, but like I also said, we have a 100% system, so I do have to bring them up and maybe take off a few points. And that is, this movie could have been a little bit more emotional. And it is. It definitely hits you, especially if you followed them for a long time. It wasn't as emotional as I was anticipating, especially from everything you've heard in the past. You've heard so much about how this movie made the actors cry, which that's understandable because they follow this. They've been in all these movies. They've been the characters themselves. But overall, this movie could have been a little bit more, quite a bit more emotional, I think. There are some scenes that are decently emotional.
There are definitely scenes that made me get choked up a little bit. But I do think that the third one was more emotional. But yeah, it's not that big of a complaint. But yeah, I do agree with that.
Well, guys, overall, this movie was insanely good. I will say, I just want to put everybody's minds at ease and just say this movie needed to happen. It is a movie that we thought didn't need to happen, and it told us why it needed to happen. I'm going to say that Toy Story 4 is 98% awesome.
Yeah, this movie was definitely mind-blowing with how they were able to craft a story that made you know that that's why they made this movie. That's why they decided to move forward with this franchise. Just everything about it, the characters, the way they delved into a lot of them were just amazing. It's actually pretty decently funny. It's not just made for kids. I'm going to say that Toy Story 4 It is 94% awesome.
Well, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment and let us know what you thought about both of these movies. Tell us which one you liked more. Honestly, I really think that Toy Story is substantially better than Child's Play. Not to say that Child's Play is like terrible, but just this movie is just all the way above it.
Especially watching them back to back.
Yeah, so just let us know what you thought about those. Also, if you want to, you can go in the description below description. We'll put a link in the comments to link in the description to our podcast, Awesome Drone Podcast, if you want to check that out.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at 2 Awesome Men.
And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see us later.